Okay, I should start this interview by saying thank you so much for taking the time out to sit down and chat with me. I suppose we should start at the very beginning. So, how did your love of theatre begin?
Ooh, okay. I'd say, well, you do ask this every interview. I did do my research, and I maybe should have thought of an answer, shouldn't I? Anyway, I'd say the earliest memory I have is me mum taking me to go see Lion King on the
Hmm.
West End
Wow.
because my grandma taught at the Royal Welsh, which was nice, and one of the graduates was in Lion King playing Timon. And we got to go see him on the West End, and I just remember being a bit just blown back
Mm.
by the whole spectacle of it all, to be honest with you, and the whole wow, all the coming through the audience
Mm.
and just how big Lion King is. And I remember it like nothing else had really blown my mind before
Mm.
like that, besides maybe Cars the movie. But that was the
The two
that
ends of
was
the
the
spectrum.
yeah, no, we all know the opening of Cars, and that's elite. But yeah, I just remember being absolutely blown away by it and falling in love from then on, to be honest with you. So yeah,
Yeah, and obviously then you obviously you studied it at university, which we're going to skim over a little bit.
sure.
But I did some research on you and found out that one of your first big gigs was on a cruise ship.
Yes, it
So
was.
what drew you into cruise life? Into I was going to say cruising, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah,
Into
yeah.
cruise life. What drew you into that sort of job?
Um, it's just the adventure of it, to be honest with you.
Mm.
There is 100% discipline, and we got to
Mm.
make a good show. But I do enjoy the traveling aspect of it.
Mhm.
We went to the Caribbean.
Oh.
And yeah, it came through as an audition for a panto on a cruise ship, and I was like, absolutely, I don't see why not, to be honest with you. That was the logic behind it, and yeah, I had a great time, and
Mm.
your passion of performing, you get to perform, you get to do that, and you also, when you're not performing, you
Yeah.
get to see Barbados, so it's.
There's no losses there, is it? To be fair, it's
There's
a
no, there
win-win.
is there is not.
So, and obviously you were the prince in that production. So what is it
Yes.
like taking on the role of a prince then? How did you approach the role?
I've just I approached it with a poshness. I
Mm.
had to like what kind of not class, but like is he a prince who cares about his subjects? Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? I know that sounds deep, but that was a little I was like, what's his motivation? Um but yeah, yeah, it's just that kind of is he understanding,
Mm.
are poor people scary, basically? Is he
Mm.
is he more understanding? Is he more and I kind of sat out of a bit of both. Like
Mm.
he's an upper class person who doesn't understand the poor, but he's well-meaning. Do you know
Mhm.
what I mean? He,
Yeah.
he doesn't understand. He's like, oh, I don't know why you don't have bread. That's a shame. He has empathy,
Yeah.
but he doesn't understand the kind of you know
Mm.
the complex nature of running a kingdom. But he's trying his best.
And so obviously with it being on a cruise, did that change, like how did that change your sort of getting ready process or kind of how you portrayed the role?
I mean, my getting ready process is pretty similar
Mm.
in most roles I do, to be honest with you, and it didn't really affect with the cruise, to be
Mm.
honest with you, because a backstage is a backstage.
Yeah.
You get your call time, and I just have that little bit where I get in the zone. I call it like my tunnel time,
Hmm.
which is like when like rugby players or football are in the tunnel. I kind of
Hmm.
have that minute where I just kind of we do your warm up, you work as a cast and that sort of
Hmm.
stuff, and that lets everyone get in the zone. But definitely I have the 10 minutes, 15 minutes before where I just kind of go silent and I just
Hmm.
kind of shake off the nerves and just tell myself, go out there and have fun. That kind of, we're doing this. So yeah.
So was it like totally the same as sort of your normal roles then performing on the cruise? Was there any sort of things that people wouldn't be aware of or things that made the experience slightly different for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's cruise life. I haven't been on these long
Mm.
contracts for like 12 months, so I can't tell you the ins and outs there. But just yeah, what's different from performing on a cruise?
I imagine there's some like sort of protocols you've got to follow as well and being aware of if there's any issues and the sirens that will come across or changes of, I don't know, location potentially. Obviously, I don't know your full contract, but those sorts of things might be quite complex to someone who hasn't done it before.
Wow, it was yeah, it was definitely the the fact we got to use it because it was 2 week
Hmm.
rotations. You know what I mean? You have different passengers every 2 weeks.
Hmm.
They get on, they get off, or is it 1 week? I think it's 2 weeks. Um, and you have different people, and you got to prepare for different people. You got to prepare for different children's reactions.
Hmm.
You got to learn the layout of the ship, where the start, where the theatre
Hmm.
is, and kind of how to get to the theatre quickly. Where we used rehearsal rooms, which is like some rooms which were like originally conference rooms up,
Okay.
up in the
Hmm.
top of the ship. We would use to kind of meet up and run lines and stuff. And yeah, just kind of the geography of it, to be honest with you,
Hmm.
because it is a theatre on the sea, and it's just on the sea is what it happens to be. It works as a theatre itself, and it's just making sure you know
Hmm.
where to go and how not to get in people's way because it's also a working ship.
Hmm.
It's
Totally.
you got to do your job and let them do their job, and yeah,
Hmm.
it was more of a you got used to it. You definitely got used to ship life, I'd say.
Hmm.
But it's just mainly knowing where you are and where you're going. I'd say was the thing that I found.
Hmm.
Once you know that, you're sorted, and then
Yeah.
you can kind of it's like a high school. You know when you get
Yeah.
to high school and you don't know
Everything
anything.
seems so big and so where is everything? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But once you're like about 2 weeks in, you're like, cool. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the main thing I'd say.
Oh, fantastic. And obviously, skipping forward a little bit then, you obviously
Mm,
appeared in Ben Ellis's music video for Burner Phone.
I did,
So what was
yes.
it
You've done
like
your
being a part of
research.
that? Yes, I've done my research and you made it really easy by putting your spotlight link on your Instagram bio, which was lovely because I could just go, yep,
Yeah.
cool, there, there, there. Yeah. So what was it like appearing in that music video and what was that process like?
Oh, it was great. It was honestly great. Yeah, it's weird being like someone's researched me. Ooh. I feel a bit important now. Yeah, it was great. It felt a bit less like work because it's your
Mhm.
mate, of course. I mean, it is work. You understand that he's trying to get something out of the project, and
Mhm.
you've got to put in what he wants to get out and all that sort of
Mhm.
stuff. Um, but yeah, it was very very chilled, very good because I kind of just knew Ben as a person.
Yeah.
He's a one talented being.
Oh,
Honestly, he is.
incredible.
You saw him last night, I'm
Yes, yeah,
guessing, not
yeah.
or evening, I'd say it was 6 o'clock. Um, or five. And yeah, it was a great experience because it was a new kind of medium.
Mm.
He had his people with him, and Ben would kind of talk you through it, and then you do what you needed to do, and it's similar because it is, still acting, it's still on
Mhm.
screen, it's still being presented as a person or character, and yeah, no, it was really nice. It felt very professional, but also chilled because you kind of knew what you wanted out of
Yeah.
it, and yeah.
Yeah, I suppose the
Nice.
difference with sort of a music video is it's kind of edited and recorded as opposed to other
Mm.
things of performing live. So did that change sort of how you performed the role, how you what you thought about and how you sort of took it on, knowing that it would be edited before being sent to everyone?
Um, Kind of. I wouldn't say
Mm.
majorly because you'd shout action and then you'd go and you do what you needed to do and then you kind of have your kind of little journey there and then it was up to the editors of what part of the journey they want to put in, to be honest with
Mm.
you. And it's not my place to say what should be kept in and what shouldn't be kept in. So
Mm.
yeah, it felt more, it's a live performance that just the audience get to see little snippets of because we're
Yeah.
having like a bunch of other live performances from other people in the video. So yeah,
No,
that's what I'd
fantastic.
say.
So from sort of shows and projects you've done onto things that are coming up and kind of what we're here to talk about is obviously the
Yes.
big Pembrokeshire Panto. So what made you want to throw your hat into the ring? What made you go, I want to be a part of this?
Um, got a ring from my agent. That's no,
I needed
I'm
money.
joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. If the producer watches this, hi, buddy. You good? Anyway, yeah, no, it was definitely. So I went up originally for an audition with Bluestone.
Mhm.
Is what happened originally, and then they contacted me afterwards about maybe an interview with the Big Pem's Pantos. And yeah, I seem very interested in it. It's Peter Pan and Peter Pan. I'd love like the challenge of, I know he's the name,
Hmm.
because it's Peter Pan, but it's definitely the Dame and the more like or Starkey the pirate would say, or oh, what's his name? Buttons does like a lot of the heavy lifting in the panto, but I still think it'd be a good challenge to be Peter Pan.
Hmm.
And also because it was like Pembrokeshire, and like I know the area
Hmm.
very well. I know exactly, I do love a good challenge. I do love a good going to different places, but it felt quite nice to be doing something that you know what I mean? Like I know I don't know the people of Pembrokeshire, but I know the vibe and I know kind of what it's like to spend time there. We've spent years in Tenby as a family growing up, and
Hmm.
it would be nice to cater to that particular audience, I thought, and it'd be nice to maybe a bit of Welsh humor, I'd say, and
Hmm.
add that in. So yeah,
Oh,
something that I feel
fantastic.
I understand. Yeah.
So you obviously mentioned there sort of it was you were brought over, well, you were sort of poached, I suppose, in a way.
Yeah.
So what was the actual audition process like for someone who's not done a pantomime before? What does that sort of uh, journey look like?
I think mine was quite different to
Hmm.
the usual
Okay.
route. So I'd say to anyone watching, this was quite different. Um, but this is what happened, which is they had an audition for a Christmas show
Hmm.
in Bluestone down Pembrokeshire Way, if people know it.
Hmm.
Lovely place. Um, been there before. We went when I was younger. We watched Spider-Man. That's why I've watched
Fantastic.
Spider-Man. Just out of curiosity. It's the first time I watched it. I remember because it was a big deal because it was Spider-Man, but it was like scary Spider-Man. You know, the one with Green Goblin.
Yes,
Anyway,
yes.
because it was like blood and stuff, and I was like, "Whoa!" Anyway, don't get off topic. It's a really good, and the second one's great. Anyway, oh, great. Yeah, it was it was Blue audition for Bluestone, and they gave us a dance to make them laugh, which I would say really challenging, for
Hmm.
the main reason of I love the song Make 'Em Laugh.
Hmm.
The hard part was the fact that I knew I could do this well. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That kind of feeling of, oh, I could definitely knock this out of the park. So don't try too hard. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Don't try and be you because you know that you is what you like. Don't
Hmm.
try so hard to be this best version of you. Just kind of be you, and that should be enough.
Hmm.
So we did that, and then we were called back for the following day because that was the kind of the dance round. That was can you move, and they called back the following day and they said, can you bring a song with you, and we're going to give you a bit of text. So I did the bit of text. I thought it went all right, learning it on the fly. And then I think the song was the one that did it for me because I did again. You'd have to speak to either Drew or Rhys, of the company. But the song I brought with me was "Never Getting Rid of Me," and
Okay.
they heard it.
From
Have you
Waitress.
got?
Hmm.
And they went, have you got another one? And I was like, sure. Here's my
Yeah.
rep folder. Again, have a little
Hmm.
look. Again, for people listening, bring your rep folder because they
Hmm.
will ask. You don't know, just have it there. And they asked for Corner of the Sky,
Hmm.
right? And Corner of the Sky, yeah, is a very Peter Pan song, I'd say, to
Yeah.
be honest with you.
Perfect.
And, I did my best. In that moment, you got to just do you got to be
Hmm.
you before we Corner the Sky. Don't try and overcomplicate it. Just be
Hmm.
you. And I feel like I was enough of myself for them to
Hmm.
go, he could work as Peter Pan. But,
Hmm.
and then I had the interview, which was about 2 weeks later. I just got an email out of the blue saying, hey, do you want to have an interview and discuss the idea of playing Peter Pan? And I was like, sure, absolutely. We had a nice little interview, chatted about the production,
Hmm.
Pembrokeshire, what I'm looking forward to, and later that day, I think was
Wow.
there you go. Yeah.
And so it was only at that point you kind of realized you were going for Peter Pan that you would be the sort of namesake of the show, or was that
Yeah.
always from the beginning you had that in your brain that that's what you wanted?
It was from the email. It was from the
Wow.
email 2 weeks later that they'd like to speak to you about Peter Pan for Peter Pan, and that was not even confirmed. That was
Yeah.
just be prepared to get into that mindset, and yeah, it was. it was really nice. It was really nice to have that little sense of, oh, I kind of know what I could get myself into here, and the excitement around that. So yeah,
Yeah, obviously you mentioned earlier that obviously the name Peter Pan is such a sort of iconic character that's been
yeah,
played by like thousands of different people all around the world. Does that
yeah.
kind of add pressure to you, or does that make it easier for you to take on the character knowing that it's been done so many times elsewhere?
I I think it's like the opposite. I'm looking forward to Josh's Peter Pan.
Mm,
That's what I'm looking forward to. I don't really think about other people's performances of Peter Pan. I have since watched the 2003 one, which is again a great film. Getting on to some early 2000s bangers. Um, I'm looking forward to just seeing my own interpretation because
mhm.
you don't know what your interpretation because I haven't got the script through yet, and I just kind of you got the fundamentals of Peter Pan as a
Yeah.
boy who doesn't grow up. He's you know, irresponsible. You know, my
Mm,
favorite part of the research was I Googled like, right, Wendy, Peter, what's the relationship there? What am I gonna what can I spin on this? What's his relationship to Wendy? Is it romantic? Is it not romantic? And I really enjoyed the fact I just like did my little research, and the main thing that came up was like, oh, Wendy's interested in, and but he just does not care.
yeah.
He just doesn't. Girls are still icky to him, and I just find that kind of funny. Like she's like, Peter, what if we like, had some alone time together? And Peter would be like, to do what? You
Yeah.
know? Why would you do that? The little boy, the lost boy's over here. So like, why,
Yeah.
why? And I kind of like my own interpretation of that, which is just the why would you do that? And the kind of the immature, which I think like some lines like that will come up, and just how I feel the right way to play them, and that's the thing I'm looking forward to the most, I'd say. Not other people, like not
Mm,
looking at other people's and stealing. Of course, you can definitely do that, and I probably will. But just to see what interpretation I will find with the help of the director, just to make him his own
mm,
Peter Pan, because there's millions of them, and then this will just be one, I reckon. So yeah.
mm. I think one of the things they all have in common, though, is that they all fly. And so, how are
Yes.
you feeling? I know you haven't had the script or the sort of blocking of those sorts of scenes yet, but how do you feel about flying?
I've I can definitely I'm sure I can mention this, maybe, hopefully. Maybe, hopefully, definitely might be flying.
Okay.
So yeah, absolutely. We'll find out later. But yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to the flying aspect of it. I've done a bit of it when I was younger. I was in the Ron and Taff like little tour directed by
Hmm.
Rich Tunley when I was I'd say 11, 12, playing John Michael. And
Hmm.
so I've got like flying experience before, but it has been a while. And I'm definitely excited to just let
Hmm.
loose because he's Peter Pan. His flying is not regimented. His flying is fun. His flying is all
Hmm.
over the shop, you know? I'm looking forward to just having fun with it and
Just
seeing
letting
if I can do
loose
a
in the air.
backflip. Just letting loose, you know what I mean? Just that kind of, I'm looking into what positions I can get my body to in the air, you know? I'm like, can I do this? Is that kind of, because he'd play around in the air, you know?
Hmm.
You can imagine him kind of just hanging upside down for the sake of hanging upside down, you know?
Hmm.
And I'm looking forward to just seeing how cheeky I can make him in the air. So yeah.
Hmm. And obviously, we talked earlier about how sort of the different projects maybe slightly alter the way you approach a role. But does the
Yeah.
idea of it being a pantomime change kind of how you're going to approach Peter Pan and how you want to present it to a crowd? Because there's a very different medium to sort of a straight play or a traditional musical.
I'd say yes and no. I'd say
Hmm.
a little bit yes, because it is a panto. It is all exaggerated. It is, a good time for everyone. But I also feel like it's it's the dame who will give that energy.
Hmm.
It's the dame, I am not the straight man because I wouldn't say Peter Pan is a straight man,
Hmm.
but there's definitely the elevations that the dame and the Starkey or Buttons will bring to add that panto element to it. And again, I it's not laziness, but it's that kind of thing of Peter is oblivious.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. So I think just that kind of energy of excitement that he will
Mm,
already have will just work for Panto. The work's kind of done for you. You don't really have to elevate there because he's just kind of an excitable child.
mm,
So if you play with that excitable child, it should come across well. I can't
mm,
see why it wouldn't. And you, that kind of getting all the audience involved, he's a kid.
mm.
He's excited. He'd go see the Panto. He'd be on the front row
Yeah.
clapping and just going,
Be the one they bring
you
on
know.
stage. Yeah.
I wouldn't be put it past him if I turned to the director and be like, "Oh, can Peter go in the audience for this bit?" Because he just kind of go, "Oh, this is nice." You know, I think if you told Peter about the concept of the fourth wall, he'd go, "Neat. Who are they?"
Yeah.
It's the fun. If you just play that childlike whimsy and that childlike fun throughout, it should definitely work for that panto. Of
Mm.
course, there is nuance to him because of the plot and all that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. Yeah,
Oh,
that should.
totally. So
Yeah.
obviously you got the announcement that you're playing Peter Pan, but
Yes.
there's one person in particular who's also in the show who is a very big
Yes.
name, especially across Wales, and that is the
Yes.
incredible Wyn Evans.
Yes.
So what was it like finding out that you're going to be performing alongside the Go Compare Man?
Ah, It was cool. I did want to make a joke. I was like, well, yeah, of course, Alice Bamboo is playing Wendy is huge. I mean, uh, again, love you, Alice. She's great. Um, it was very fun. I remember the day I discovered it is, we saw it in the kitchen. We saw it on the post. Like I found out the time
Hmm.
you found out with the Instagram
Wow.
post on Big Fed Pantos and Boulevard Theatre,
Yeah.
and it was yeah, it was excitement. It because I
Hmm.
was like, this guy will know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. He hasn't been in a panto before. He has express, but he's
Wow.
he's got many years
Hmm.
in professional theatre. So I'm just looking forward to for him to kind of raise my game a bit. To be
Hmm.
honest with you, like I'll see him doing his thing, and I'll go, ooh, I'll raise you this, and we'll kind
Yeah.
of just be kind of doing that together. So and also it's the icon of Wales.
Yeah.
I'm Welsh, very proud to be Welsh, and just to have someone who's this absolute icon of
Hmm.
Welshness and what we are like to the rest of the UK is very exciting. So
Oh,
yeah.
fantastic. So we are coming to the end of my questions, but I do have a couple more. So
hmm
where can people stay up to date with you, and where can they stay up to date with obviously the Big Pembrokeshire pantomime?
Nice. Yeah. No, I was going to mention that. That was on my list of things to mention of like where to book and all that. Yeah, just keep following me on Instagram. I post all that sort of stuff. Feel free to reach out, of course, if you've got any questions about performing and stuff. I'm definitely a firm believer of we're all in this together,
Yeah.
and that kind of performance can be quite a like separate job because you all kind of do your own auditions. You don't really interact
Mhm.
unless you're on the stage together. So, I think definitely coming together and contacting with each other is
Mhm.
important in this kind of industry. So yeah, drop me a text on Instagram or check out my Facebook and that sort of stuff, and you should see the updates.
Fantastic.
And then and then go to the Boulevard Theatre
Hmm.
.com, Milford Haven Boulevard Theatre. Pop that in, or you can go to the Big Pam's Panto and click the Peter Pan logo. And there should be you go book here, and there's a Peter Pan. You give that, and that should take you to the Boulevard Theatre. And yeah, please come see it. It's December 9th to December 31st in the Boulevard. First night is already sold out, so you better get
Wow.
your tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, very, very soon. You better, you better get your tickets quick.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I definitely say if you are booking, the period we have a load of shows,
Mhm.
uh, like from around like the 21st to the 28th. Like that is the time to
Mhm.
come. That is there should be enough spaces there. So if you're gonna block out your calendar to go see it, definitely that slot. But
Mhm.
9th to the 31st, go to the website, book your tickets. Can't wait to see you there.
Mm. I'll put all the links in the comments below so people can scroll down and click away. And my
Nice.
final question is, what advice do you have for young creatives looking to do what you do?
I was gonna say believe in fairies, but that's just too cheesy. But yeah, just kind of keep that whimsy alive.
Hmm.
That's the thing, it's a very hard industry. There's no
Hmm.
point pretending like it isn't. but have that kind of skipping a step, have that moment you realize why you did it, and it's have that in you because that will be important when you're doing it.
Mm.
Because there are more dramatic roles, but in terms of musical theatre itself, it's a hard industry. But when you get into it, you realize why you're doing it,
Oh,
and have that whimsy in you because that's going to add to your performance, no
oh.
matter what. If
Mm.
you're a dancer, if you're an actor, you got to have that
Mm.
buzz that musical theatre really brings to people. So keep it in you and use it, and I'm planning to use it in Peter Pan.
Yeah.
So use it whatever you've got.
Oh,
That was,
fantastic. So I
that was
said
really lovely.
that was really nice. I was
Yeah,
genuinely like,
I
oh
got really.
yeah.
I was like, it's gonna be okay, guys. It's gonna be, but like, kind of love yourself.
So I said at the beginning, but I'll end the same way. Thank you so much for finding the time to sit down and chat with me. As I
Mm,
mentioned, I'll put all the links in the comments below and people can scroll down and click away. And
mm.
obviously, I wish you the best of luck at the pantomime, and I shall speak to you soon.